I am super sad, and let me tell you why. Today, someone I considered a very dear friend, someone I thought would be a lifelong friend, has decided that we cannot be friends because of my vote. To vote red, to vote conservative, to vote for Trump. She felt as though my vote was a vote against her and against women of color and not understanding the repression that they face. Here's the thing. I love this lady. I dearly love her. And I never thought that that would be her reaction. We've always had political conversations. We've talked about these things. We worked together for many years. And I thought that we were above it. I knew we had differences, but I thought we respected each other's differences, but apparently we don't. So I did not vote against you, my friend. I love you.
People be like, you're willing to lose friends over politics? Me? I'm willing to lose friends over morals. Huge difference.
I've been seeing memes floating around social media about how we shouldn't lose friends over politics. And I would agree, we shouldn't lose friends over politics. But this election is about more than just politics. This election is about two competing value systems, one of them based on hate, fear, intimidation, and deceit. The other is based on hope, dreams, optimism, and at least a nodding acquaintance to the traditions and values that have made this the greatest country in the world. And those are things worth fighting for. I'm not going to be friends with anybody who would support a guy or a party who want to take away my human rights and reduce me to a second-class citizen. So yeah, don't lose friends over politics. Do lose friends over principles.
Some of my former friends won't speak to me because they say I'm far too conservative, that I've gone over to the MAGA and they just don't want to be friends anymore. And that's fine. I don't care, because then they weren't real friends anyway. But the issue is, I agreed with Donald Trump's policy about building the wall. I lost a lot of friends because of that.
The simple fact of the matter is, if children are slaughtered in their school and your first thought is, don't you dare think about taking away my guns, instead of how do we make sure this never happens again, we don't have a difference in political opinion. We have a difference in morality. If you believe immigrants are inherently dangerous people who deserve to be ripped away from their families and deported or never be allowed into our country in the first place, then we don't have a difference in political opinions. We have a difference in morality. If you believe the poor are poor because they're lazy moochers and deserve to be treated with contempt and should accept any scraps thrown their way, then we don't have a difference in political opinion. We have a difference in morality. If you believe refugees are a threat and deserve to die on the shores of some beach with their children on the other side of the world, then we don't have a difference in political opinion. We have a difference in morality. If you think women should be harassed and assaulted based on what they're wearing and then slandered and ridiculed for having the audacity to speak out about it, then we don't have a difference in political opinion. We have a difference in morality. If you believe the environment should be exploited and destroyed for financial gain, regardless of the implications it has on present and future generations, then we don't have a difference in political opinion. We have a difference in morality.
If you support Trump or MAGA in any way, we cannot be friends. I don't care if I've known you for decades. We cannot be friends. I don't care if you're family. I will disown you. Why? Because not over politics. It's over morals. And apparently y'all have none. Y'all have no morals. You have no empathy. Nothing. Because you voted for the most unethical, non-moral having president that this country has ever seen. And then y'all want to double down on that. And this goes double for my Latinos that voted for Donald Trump and support him. Y'all a bunch of magabicho motherfuckers that support your own Latinos being kidnapped. Let that sink in. But I know y'all don't care because y'all ain't got no morals or y'all ain't got no ethics. So it's not going to be an issue to you. So this is why I have no problem disassociating from y'all and not being your friends. The same way you have no problems with people being kidnapped or people being hungry. I don't care how long we've known each other. To the rest of y'all, stay being decent human beings. I love you.
The 2024 election was so personal for millions of Americans. It was never just about Republicans versus Democrats. It was a difference in morality, values, humanity, and what kind of a country they wanted America to be. And this is why so many relationships have ended. Families stopped talking to each other. People cut loved ones out of their lives. It was about trust. And once trust is broken, rebuilding it is very difficult. So let's get to see more. Please like and help the video and let me know what's in the comments, alright?
So recently, in response to a meme that is going around, and that meme says, we shouldn't lose friendships over two guys who don't even know us, right? Or you've seen memes that say, we can disagree on politics and still be friends, not to let politics separate us. And I had responded to a friend of mine who had posted this on Facebook, and I said, for me, it's not that simple. For me, it's not about the two men that don't know me. It's about the policies that they represent. It's about the things that they plan to implement or the things that they plan to take away. And it's not politics. It's my livelihood. It's the things that are important to me, to my children, to my grandchildren, my friends, and my family. And so I had said, as a biracial woman, the things that Trump has said about Black people and his actions toward them for decades upon decades have been proven to be racist. Even today, you can take something just as subtle as the blacks, black jobs, my blacks. Look at my blacks over there, right? Those are reminders of his attitude all the way back in the 70s when he got in trouble for not renting to Black people, right? This is a history that he has. So as a Black woman, I can't be friends with someone that supports someone who is racist, right? Someone who is actively that way. I mean, for goodness sake, he said that he still believes the Central Park Five is guilty despite being exonerated, despite DNA evidence that proves they're innocent. And those men that were boys at the time spent years upon years of their lives in prison. And he doesn't care, right? I have friends in my family. I have people in my family that are gay. I have people in my family that are gay and married with children. I have a person in my family who is trans. When you support someone that wants to pass legislation or take away laws that protect those people or me or my children, if you want to get rid of words in legislation and in grants that have to do with gender and gender awareness or diversity or equity or inclusion, then you cannot be my friend. And that's not a horrible thing. That's not me saying, oh, I don't like you because you support Trump. No. It's I can't be friends with you because you support a person who blatantly plans to cause harm to me, my family, and the people that I love. And so, no, I get to set that boundary. And it's not that you're a bad person. I'm not going to say that. We can be respectful acquaintances, right? But it's really, really simple. If you support things like that, and you might say, well, I don't see color and I don't see people as gay and I don't see whatever. Listen, if you're saying things like that, it means you don't see the entire person. It means you don't love the entire person. It means you're only willing to see the parts of them that don't make you uncomfortable. And that is conditional love. That is not unconditional love. And I get to determine if the way that you love is acceptable to me. And it's not. It's very simple. And so I had someone ask me the other day, well, how do you deal with family members who support Trump? And I said, well, why are they saying they support him? And she said, well, they're saying that he's a good Christian man and they're delusional. And I said, well, first of all, I wouldn't say they're delusional, right? Because the moment that you criticize someone or call them names, they're no longer listening to you. But I would meet them where they're at. I would simply pull up Galatians 5:22 and 23, which are the fruits of the Spirit. And I would say, so show me where Trump meets these standards. And here they are. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance. Those are the fruits of the Spirit. So for every Christian who says you support Donald Trump because he's a good Christian man, I would ask you, where in his speeches, where in his rhetoric, where in his policies, where do you see love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance? Because I can't find them anywhere.
People aren't ending their friendships or relationships with you because you voted for Trump. They're ending those relationships because they don't like you. And Trump was the last straw. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. I shouldn't speak in absolutes. I can't say nobody does this, but the vast majority of people aren't going to stop talking to you over politics. The reason why is because the value you bring to their relationship with you is greater than the value you've taken away by the way you voted. Think of relationships a little bit like a bank account, right? The amount of deposits have to override the amount of withdrawals for that relationship to have any value. So if people are cutting their ties with you because of the way you voted, it's more likely that you've been running a net negative for a while and you just made another withdrawal. So they may say it's because of the election, but it's more likely that it's your vote and the way you're acting about your vote has made them realize what that bank account balance is, and they're just like, well, maybe we should just close this account. So if somebody has stopped talking to you over this, you have the choice. You can either berate them for being closed-minded and bigoted, or you can look inward and ask why your vote was so much of a deal breaker in your relationship. And remember that friendship isn't obligatory, and all friendship should come with happiness. That's what having friends is for. So if you're not bringing happiness, you can't expect to be friends. The only thing more sad than being alone is being sad amongst your friends.
I had to cut off some of my white friends for a while. And I'm explaining to you why I did that. Right after the Trump won the election, and I started seeing, the first thing that hurt me was I saw a post that someone that I knew and respected and cared for, she posted a picture of her grandbaby wearing a Trump onesie. And I was just floored. Again, I know we live in a democracy and people have the right. That's the beauty of a democracy, that you can vote however you want. But it shook me to my core because we all know that his core values and his supporters, the large majority, are racist and xenophobic, homophobic, and all those other things. And it really jolted me. And then it led me on a search on Facebook of all my friends and associates who are white. And I wanted to see their response to Trump's win. And a very large majority, to my surprise, voted for Trump. And it devastated me to the point where I didn't even question. I didn't even want to call them. I just block, delete, block. So to this day, I have not picked up the phone and particularly called this one person. And I know she has a good heart, and I know she herself didn't vote for Trump, but I know that her children did. And that still stung me, right? Also, knowing the fact that she lost someone very close to her, and I lost my mom very close in time, right? So we both are grieving. So for me, when I'm grieving, I pull away from people because I just need that time. And so part of me not reaching out was because of the Trump, but also a part of me was just my own grief. And I didn't have the strength to be strong for her when I was being weak for myself. But I did text her and I never got a response back, right? And I know it hurt her because I know I meant a lot to her. And so I want to explain to her why I pulled back as far as with the race thing. I did explain to her why I pulled back because of my grief. You understand? But I said all that to say this. Sometimes you have to pull back and just evaluate the belief systems of those people around you. And again, we don't always have to agree on every political and geopolitical topic. But you can't be down with no racist and want him to lead when you're white and I'm black or whatever. Hell, even if you're black on black, if I know you voted for Trump, I cut you off. And I'm sorry, that's just where I was at. You understand? And so give me your opinion. You know, do you think I moved too quickly? I don't think so. I have peace about it. I know I was crushed when I saw that woman's grandbaby wearing Trump 2024, 2025. But, you know, at the end of the day, part of me knew she was a Trumper. All right. Love you. Bye.
If you support Trump or you consider yourself MAGA, just know that I hate you and you're a disgusting piece of shit. Have a good day.
This is a very quick PSA for all of the Trump voters who have now lost all of their liberal friends because they can't even stomach the sight of you. Welcome to the club. You're not alone, and there's a lot of us waiting to befriend you. And to all those liberals who have dropped their friends, you weren't good friends in the first place. You weren't even friends. You were self-serving. You were narcissistic. Goodbye. We don't miss you. Good riddance. Get out of here.
On the subject of ending friendships as a result of which candidate you supported in the 2024 election, I have a question for conservatives that I don't think anybody has answered. And my question is this: why do you care? I just don't understand why conservatives are so heartbroken over the loss of these friendships. I honestly don't get it. And this also comes up in the discourse of dating someone who has opposing political views. I mean, for all the shit talking that y'all do about us, I don't know why you'd want to be within 10 city blocks of any of us. Everything you say and do sends the message loud and clear: we hate you. So why are you the ones complaining about losing these friendships? I genuinely don't understand. I'm not trying to be funny or clickbaity. I honestly want an answer because I don't get it. Friendships and relationships are built on trust. How can you possibly trust someone that you hate? And most conservatives are deeply religious people as well. And particularly American evangelical Christians don't trust people who aren't Christians. They don't even trust other Christians of different denominations who worship and believe, slightly differently than they do. So if they don't trust people who aren't Christians, why would they trust a liberal? And therefore, why would they want to be friends with a liberal? Does MAGA just not understand how relationships work? Why do you care that these people are absent from your life? I've seen a few people who have posted videos saying, all the liberals that unfollowed me because I voted for Trump, who cares? I'm just going to unfollow them back. But for the most part, I see much more complaining and sometimes like sadness when liberals, break up with their conservative friends, or liberal women break up with or divorce their conservative husbands. Conservative husbands, why? I would ask a liberal woman why the hell she'd ever want a conservative husband. But I also ask a conservative husband, why the fuck would you want a liberal wife? I genuinely don't understand. I'm honestly asking. So, MAGA, why do you care that liberals are exiting your life? Why are you concerned that people you hate are disconnecting from you? I don't understand. Please answer the question in the comments, Stitch, whatever. Because I just don't get this conversation at all.
Hey, Trump supporter. Did you know that you don't have any black or Hispanic friends? No, you don't. No, you don't. You might say that you do, and you might say that you're not racist, but you are. Because the policies and things that you vote for openly oppress both black and Hispanic people. Yeah.
I've seen so many people ask, why can't Americans just move on? Why can't they agree to disagree like they used to? But the answer many Americans are giving is that they don't believe that this election was something that they could simply disagree because it was not about taxes or about the economy. It was about people's lives. If someone voted for policies that could separate immigrant families, reduce protections for certain groups, limit abortion access, or even reduce government spending that help vulnerable people, then it becomes personal. People ask, if you are willing to vote for policies that could hurt me, my family, or even my community, how can I trust you? You see? And this is why so many relationships have changed, because trust is the foundation of every friendship, every marriage, every family. So when trust disappears, the relationship changes with it. Many Americans say they're not ending the friendship because someone has a different opinion. They say they're ending the friendship because they believe those votes reflected a different set of moral priorities. On the other hand, many Trump voters, however, say that they voted for lower inflation, lower grocery prices, building the wall, border security. But many of the same policies that they voted for, they were designed to hurt other people. And this is why it is getting complicated. But the truth is that the 2024 election left deep emotional scars for millions of Americans and have separated many relationships. And the country is still living with those consequences. Politics now reaches people's homes, churches, workplaces, and in friendships in ways that many Americans never expected before. And whether you supported Trump or even Kamala, one thing is clear, that America is not just debating about policies, it is debating about its identity, It is debating what justice, equality, freedom, and compassion should look like in modern America. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.